Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about the red dot on the pistol, and specifically, does it make you better, or can you be better with it? I've spent a good part of 2020 trying to figure that out. Okay, and as an instructor, I get to train lots of people. A lot of them brand new, people with different abilities. Some very young, some old. Some have arthritis in their hands or carpal tunnels, or a balancing problem. All these things. So I'm able to study people and see what works best for them. Now you might say, why should you care about that if you're perfectly healthy? Well, here's the thing. Um, Something that makes somebody with a disability better is also going to be better for you if you're in a compromised situation, like you're wounded or you're exhausted or whatever. So that's one of the reasons why I study, people that are either brand new or very weak or handicapped or something along those lines. Okay, so um, one of the things that I have seen without question is the red dot on an AR makes almost everybody better. Okay, it's way easier to train people on an AR that has a red dot on it, and the true test is not if you come up and put your face on the gun, how quickly you're going to find that dot. The question is, what you're going to do is put the gun into your offhand and do it one-handed. Okay, and switch around to different positions, right, and see how that works for you. And if you're consistent with placing the stock on your shoulder, right, on your chest over here, and your face on the stock, you will see that you will find that red dot almost every time. Okay, so this works. This works well. This is a proven technology, and I don't care how good you are with the iron sights, you will be better with a red dot. And the red dot is also great because it works at night, whereas the iron sights a lot of times won't work at night. Unless you upgrade to tritium or whatever. Red dot's great on the rifle. I love it. So what I was hoping for, right? What I was trying to test is, can that provide the same benefit on the pistol? Okay, and I was really hoping it would. Again, I've been testing this. I got two guns here that are identical iron sights on it, identical gun, and I've got one with a red dot, one without it. And I'll have people shoot this gun, and then this gun, and then this gun, and then that gun. I'll time them. I'll have them shoot different targets. And without a question, I have seen that people are faster with just the iron sights. And I don't know why, but even on a pistol like this that has the suppressor height sights that are co-witness to the red dot, and I'll tell people, just come out, find your iron sights, and the dot will be there. And for whatever reason, this hood over here, I don't know, it either becomes a distraction, or the fact that they're looking for that red dot, that red dot becomes a distraction. And on this particular one, I use the 32 MOA circle, which is bigger, right? So instead of having just a 2 MOA dot, I use the 32 MOA circle, which is bigger, which will make it even easier for them to find it. And what I find is that without a question, they are faster. They are faster with just the iron sights. Now, people will say, well, if you have perfect presentation, right? You're coming out of holster, joining, extending perfectly. You got that perfect isosceles triangle in your hands. You're gonna find it every time, and you don't even need to use the iron sights, and that's absolutely true, right? You will find that dot perfectly every time if your presentation is perfect. However, defensive shooting is not ideal perfect circumstances. Okay, you have to be able to shoot one-handed, right? Switch to the other hand. Okay, imagine a situation where you're shooting out a car window to this side or to that side. Okay, so you have to be able to switch back and forth like this. Go over there. Go one-handed. Shoot behind you. If you're seeing, if you're in a situation like in the car where you can't quite get around. Okay, so when I do that with the iron sights, without a question, I'm able to find that faster. So that's the test that you guys have to perform to see what makes you faster. Get into like weird situations where you're trying to get way behind you, like that. Okay, but sometimes you just may be locked down in the seatbelt where you can't turn People make fun of people shooting like this, right? But if you're trying to shoot behind you, that may be the way that you have to shoot, because that's the only way you can get to your target if you're strapped down into a seat. All right, so there's a time and place for everything. So it's a different way of thinking about things. And then when you start doing that kind of testing, that's when you see, what's better or what's not better. And I've done this test. Like, I'll hold these two guns side by side, right, like this, right, and I'll just practice going back and forth, right. Iron sights, get that on target, get that on target. Now I'll try to use the red dot, and there's definitely a delay, a slight delay. Now that's not to say that the red dot has no place. I have found the red dot on a pistol to be a very useful training tool, because a lot of times when I'm training people, right, what I'll do is, like, I'll have them shoot, right, and they'll squeeze. When you squeeze the trigger, you put your front sight on target. When you press, you don't want that to move. And what happens a lot of time when people are shooting, they're doing this, right? They're going like they're moving. They're either pulling the gun down or pulling left or pulling right. And I'll tell them, focus on that front sight. Did you see the front sight move down or left or right? And they'll say, no, I didn't see it. Well, I say, fine, let's use this one now. Okay, with the red dot. Line up your sights now. All right, same deal. All right, get that circle on the target, press the trigger, and then what they'll do is they'll jerk it, and I'll say, did you see that circle now move? And they'll say, yes, they saw it. So the red dot on the pistol is a very useful training tool for teaching people how they're jerking the trigger, left, right, up, down, whatever they're doing. They will see it a lot more clearly with the red dot than with the just the iron sights. Okay. Again, don't just look at this from your perspective as somebody that has trained for a long time and already knows these things. From the perspective of training your mother or your sister or your wife, there's a different way of approaching this, and the red dot is very useful for teaching somebody follow through. I'll tell them, keep that dot on the target after the gun goes bang. Okay, and they do learn better. But then I kind of have to bring it back to the iron sights, because again, trying to find those iron sights under less than ideal circumstances, they will see it better. Now, what type of iron sights? Okay, this gun over here, I have fiber optics, and there's nothing in the back. Okay, there's, let's say, like the original Glock sights. This one here has the True Glow sights. Okay. What I have found is the fiber optic sights, like this one over here with the back empty, people see this the easiest, the fastest. All right, so they'll come out and they'll find that, because that fiber optic pretty much functions as a red dot, and they'll basically and this is black back here, so this is kind of like a void. So they're gonna they almost instinctively want to put the red dot in the black void. And they're able to do that pretty quickly. The problem is that this fiber optic depends on a light source for this to light up at all, for this for you to be able to see anything. So if you are in a shady area, right, not even in the dark, like just in a shady area, that disappears, and now people just can't see anything. They can't even see the front sight. And certainly if you're in a dark situation, you're not going to see anything at all. So for that reason, the True Glow sights, like this one, because that has the tritium in there, even though this is not as bright in the daytime, right? Because this, you can see how that one over there is a lot brighter versus this one over here. This tritium one over here gives you the option of being able to use the gun at night. So between the two, this is the better choice, because this will work at day and also at night in pitch dark, because the tritium creates its own light. So that is the better way to go. I did recently see something from SIG 365 SAS. They have a very interesting tritium fiber optic that's kind of in the back. I plan to do a separate video on that, but I think that's also very easy for people to see. I think that has a lot of potential, even though I have found that if you're shooting a little further out at distance, it's not as accurate. But I also think that has some real potential. But that's what I want to share with you guys as far as the red dot on the pistol. The iron sights are, without a question, faster. You can find it under weird circumstances, okay? But the red dot on a pistol is a very good training tool for teaching people to follow through and stay on their target after the gun goes bang. Okay, I hope at some point there's some way we can improve upon this, because the problem, there's a problem with the iron sights in the sense that, with iron, when you're using the iron sights, you kind of have to focus on your iron sight. You can't focus on your target, right? And the problem is that instinctively, people want to focus on the target, right? If somebody's trying to hurt you, you're going to be looking at the target. You're not going to be looking at your iron sights. With the red dot on the AR, the cool thing is you're looking at your target, and that red dot is just kind of floating out there on it, almost holographically. So it would be great if this was the better option, but right now the iron sights are the way to go, and you just gotta basically keep reinforcing, focusing on your front sight as opposed to the target. So what happens is you go out to the target, obviously first you look at the target, then you gotta bring your focus back to your front sight when you shoot. So it involves more training, which again is part of the reason why the AR-15 is by far the better rifle. Okay, because you are able to mount an optic on this, bring it up, and get that optic on target and focus on your target, and then the dot's just on it. So if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, put in the comment section. If you're not a member, please subscribe. See you guys next time.